burgers were only in low-income areas. In the entire state of Colorado, Kentucky Fried Chicken is illegal.
Torneko Taloon first appeared as a party member from Dragon Quest IV, and despite not being particularly powerful in battle, he quickly became a fan-favorite character. Let's just get this out of the way now. Yeah, he's a little thick. Being a merchant, Torneko picks up a lot of junk. What's he gonna do with all that junk? All that junk inside that trunk. Others back it up like a Tonka truck. Torneko backs up like a dump truck. You can tell Torneko is an honest man, because those hips don't lie. Come on, it's not like our favorite DQ merchant isn't used to it. He takes smack talk from his boss, his neighbors, the town guards, and even his loving wife. You're a big lump of bother, so you are, Torneko Taloon. That is the most endearing insult I've ever seen. And he takes it all with a big smile from underneath that god-tier mustache, because in the world of DQ, there's one place you can go to let loose your anger and frustrations upon hordes of monsters: the Mystery Dungeon. Does that name sound familiar? It should. The Mystery Dungeon series has grown quite a lot since it got its start on the Super Famicom, with Torneko no Daipoken, Fushigi no Dungeon. This never came out in the States, but there's a fan translation available online that does a great job of injecting English nuance and character into the dialogue. I was sipping wine and having a good old time when suddenly I tripped over a sleeping slime. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for the official translation of Torneko the Last Hope on the original PlayStation, but it's not for lack of trying. According to an interview with Nob Ogasawara, translator for this and many other games, the company responsible for the translation did a terrible job and squandered the budget. So in the space of just 3 weeks, Mr. Ogasawara and his kids buckled down and got the game transcribed to English. Granted, it's a fairly rudimentary and bland script, but for being done in just 3 weeks, I definitely call it a triumph. Seriously, having just become a more active DQ fan, the phrase "never released in English" is one I'm getting tired of seeing. Start up the game and you're greeted with this absolutely delightful claymation video. I cannot express how much I love this style of animation. I wanted to learn a little more, so I got in touch with Mr. Ogasawara, and he informed me that the opening movie uses clips from the Japanese commercials for Torneko on the Super Famicom and PS1. The stop-motion animation was handled by Hirokazu Minagishi, who worked with Tsuneo Goda on animating the popular Japanese character Domo. Dungeons of a mysterious nature are popping up in strange places around town, and since Torneko's middle name is Problem Solver, it's up to you to delve deep and reach the ends of each dungeon, preferably stocking up a wealth of marketable goods in the process. For the longest time, I thought the Mystery Dungeon games looked really basic and boring. After finally trying one, I can say it's not nearly as basic as I thought, and I definitely wasn't bored. Every slain monster is a chance at a level up, or gold, or an item. Every room entered a chance at a sick new weapon, or a desperately needed loaf of bread. Because lunchtime was 10 minutes ago, and goddammit, Torneko is either gonna get fed or die of a stroke. Leveling up happens fast since it resets upon starting a new dungeon. You can pay the town witch for a little boost for your next run, but it's mostly pointless since early floor monsters are pathetically easy. You're better off using that money to expand your storage space, or risk bringing it with you into a dungeon to buy a super expensive item at the monster shop. Or get blindsided by a mimic. Yes, I'd like to see the manager, please. If you're thinking, boy, this walk speed sure is slow, getting around in this game must be tedious as hell, apparently the devs thought so too. That's why holding circle lets you zoom across the map until hitting a monster, item, or a crossroad. It's a much appreciated mechanic that cuts the downtime by a ton. I can't imagine trying to play without it.
Get down, you little bow, what a fool in a sense tonight, kimochi.
While most of the time the game is pretty straightforward, that doesn't mean clever players can't get a little tricky. Now, I am not a clever player. My go-to strategy was blowing myself up with this explode ring whenever I got surrounded. Torneko can't use magic, but he can use a wide range of magic wands, and once their charges run out, you can throw them at an enemy to squeeze one more use out of them. There are also pots with a bunch of effects. Herbs that can heal you, give you a free level up, increase your damage, or be thrown at an enemy for status effects. You can shoot arrows, read scrolls, throw weapons or shields. There's so many options here. It just takes a while before you get to utilize them all. Oh hey, I found some weed! Once you get to the magic dungeon, you will need every trick at your disposal. A plus 18 sword is only going to get you so far when you enter a monster-infested floor that doesn't have any walls to act as choke points. Torneko doesn't really do boss fights. Instead, kill rooms. I have been stopped dead on this floor so many times. It is stupidly hard because you have so many monsters with different behaviors to deal with. Dragons can shoot extremely damaging fire breath or attack at close range. Bomb crags blow up if damaged by explosives. Revy sacrifice themselves to revive an enemy that dies next to them. There are enemies that can easily lock you in a confusion, dancing, or sleep loop. These little shits like to cast Iron Eyes on themselves just to block your path, and this might be the first Dragon Quest related game to associate this sound with something bad. Berserkers wander around the map and take out enemies to level up. If you don't take these guys out or move on to the next floor, you could end up with a one-shotting enemy that might be waiting for you around any corner. I appreciate how they took classic DQ monsters and redesigned them to fit into this style of game. They behave more like chess pieces with their own quirks and strategies, though a strong sword swing is more than enough to handle them about 90% of the time. That is, until you reach the post-game content. I never thought I'd get past floor 27 of the magic dungeon. Between getting confused right after spawning into the room, or the dark evils that spew out a bunch of monsters upon dying, or multiply if you explode them, yeah, I was getting pretty frustrated. And that's with save states. I know you didn't think I had the patience to do this completely legit, but finishing this dungeon does unlock some pretty neat stuff. You can change your job to a warrior or mage, complete with new duds that the wife is a fan of. You also get a couple new dungeons specifically for those jobs. And the Ordeal Mansion. I wasn't ready for this. As for the soundtrack by Koichi Sugiyama, naturally, it's quite nice. Though I hope you like Torneko's theme from DQ4 because you're gonna hear different renditions of it a lot. I especially like the theme to Toro Ruins, and this alternate theme to Mount Fiery. And the opening part of the castle dungeon theme always makes me smile. Sounds like it came straight out of Rugrats. I must say, I did not expect to like Torneko The Last Hope as much as I did. I liked it so much that I kind of started going down a rabbit hole of playing some of the other Mystery Dungeon games, like Chocobo's Dungeon 2 on PS1. I'd like to thank Mr. Ogasawara for busting his ass to bring this game to American fans. Here's hoping that one day we'll get a fan translation of the PS2 game. I'll be there ready to dive into some dungeons once again. Torneko, bread earner, monster exterminator, problem solver, family man. You're the best, dude. Thanks very much for watching. If you're a Dragon Quest fan, you might like my videos on DQ 1 through 3. I'm currently playing through the whole series on my channel. Next up is 4, but I might be taking a slight detour into a different game. Not sure yet. Please consider becoming a spooky scary subscriber, and I'll see you next time on the Bone Zone. This is A Skeleton, signing out.